Why does your body do such strange things? Wrinkly fingers in the bath, or feeling sick when pregnant? Most of us just shrug and call them random annoyances, useless leftovers from the past. But what if every one of these flaws is actually a hidden genius? What if nature's errors are living proof of a clever, ancient plan still working to keep you alive and pass on your genes? And here's the kicker, one of the most common beliefs about our own evolution. It's completely, utterly wrong today. We're pulling back the curtain on 11 body secrets you've never heard. These truths will change how you see yourself forever. Let's dive right in with something we all experience when we spend too long in the water. Those strangely familiar, wrinkled fingertips and toes. You've always been told it's just your skin soaking up too much water, a harmless, meaningless side effect of a long bath or swim. Right. For generations, we've dismissed these temporary creases as a simple, passive reaction, something that just happens when you're submerged. But the truth is far more fascinating and purposeful. This isn't merely waterlogged skin. Your wrinkled fingers are actually a prime example of your body's hidden genius, a clever, ancient survival mechanism that is actively orchestrated by your nervous system. It's an involuntary command from your brain, instructing the tiny blood vessels just beneath the surface of your fingertips to constrict. This reduction in blood flow causes the underlying tissue to shrink slightly, and because the outer layer of skin doesn't shrink as much, it pulls inward, creating those distinctive ridges and grooves across your skin. Think about the deep, patterned treads on a car tire, designed specifically to channel water away and provide maximum grip on wet roads. Your wrinkled skin works in much the same way. In 2013, a groundbreaking study by scientists at Newcastle University in the UK provided definitive proof. They discovered that participants with wrinkled fingers were significantly better at picking up wet marbles and other slippery objects than those with smooth, dry fingers. This wasn't just a trivial observation, it confirmed that these temporary wrinkles enhance friction, allowing for a much firmer grasp in wet conditions. It's a sophisticated, temporary tread system that activates precisely when needed. This forgotten evolutionary advantage likely offered a crucial edge to our ancient ancestors, helping them navigate treacherous wet environments, whether foraging for food in streams or climbing rain-slicked branches. Far from being a random annoyance, it's a finely tuned, proactive feature, refined over millions of years to keep us safe and successful. From gaining a better grip underwater, we now shift our focus to an even more intricate protective mechanism, one that the female body developed to safeguard life itself. This brings us to a phenomenon known to cause immense distress for millions morning sickness. For centuries, and even today, many women experience this relentless parade of nausea and vomiting during pregnancy. It's widely dismissed as simply an unfortunate, random side effect, an unwelcome rite of passage into motherhood, something to endure and move past. We tend to view it as the body misfiring, an inconvenient glitch in the miraculous process of creating new life. But what if this debilitating discomfort is not a flaw, but rather one of evolution's most brilliant and subtle defense systems? Evolutionary scientists now believe that this profound aversion to certain foods, often accompanied by severe nausea and vomiting, is the mother's body actively deploying a powerful chemical bodyguard for her developing baby. This protective shield is most crucial during the first trimester, a time of rapid and delicate organ formation when the fetus is most vulnerable to even trace amounts of toxins found in everyday foods, substances that an adult body might easily tolerate, but could be devastating to a tiny, forming life. Imagine it as a sophisticated biological security filter, hypersensitive and proactive. The body instinctively triggers these intense symptoms to force the rejection of potentially harmful compounds, steering the expectant mother away from anything that could compromise the fragile development within. A compelling study from Cornell University underscored this profound role, revealing a fascinating correlation. Women who experienced more severe morning sickness actually had a significantly lower risk of miscarriage. This wasn't just a coincidence, it pointed directly to the protective power of this seemingly harsh mechanism, suggesting that by intensely guarding against dietary toxins, the body dramatically improves the chances of a healthy, successful pregnancy. So, What feels like a brutal personal trial is, in fact, a testament to the body's ancient, unwavering commitment to preserving the next generation, a harsh but effective guardian operating silently within. And speaking of reactions we often misunderstand, that long yawn you might have just let out while hearing this isn't as simple as you might think. And speaking of reactions we often misunderstand, that long yawn you might have just let out while hearing this isn't as simple as you might think. For generations, we've been taught that a yawn is a clear signal you're tired, or perhaps your body needs more oxygen. It's a common, seemingly logical explanation that has permeated our collective understanding. We see someone yawn, and instantly, we assume they're sleepy or bored, or that a stuffy room requires more ventilation. This belief is so ingrained, it feels almost like an instinctive truth. But what if this universal, involuntary reflex, often seen as a sign of sluggishness or oxygen deprivation, is actually a sophisticated, ancient biological mechanism designed to keep your most vital organ running optimally? Modern science has begun to peel back the layers of this seemingly mundane act, revealing that a yawn is not about filling your lungs with oxygen, but about cooling your brain. Think of your brain not just as a supercomputer, but one that runs incredibly hot, much like the processor in your laptop. Just as that laptop needs a fan to prevent overheating and ensure peak performance, your brain has its own built-in cooling system. The act of yawning, that deep, wide-mouthed inhalation, draws in cooler air, which then bathes the blood vessels in your facial cavities. Simultaneously, the stretching of your jaw and facial muscles increases blood flow to the brain itself. This combination acts like a radiator, dissipating excess heat and bringing down the overall temperature of your brain. When your brain is slightly cooler, you are more alert, more focused, and your cognitive functions are sharper. This isn't just theory. Compelling research from the State University of New York at Albany, among others, has directly demonstrated the correlation between yawning and brain temperature regulation, showing how this simple act helps optimize neurological function and maintain vigilance. So, your yawn isn't a sign of needing more oxygen, but rather your internal thermostat kicking in, a subtle yet powerful trick evolution perfected to keep you sharp and attentive. From cooling the brain, we move to another bodily reaction that seems trivial, yet holds an ancient evolutionary legacy, those tiny bumps that appear on your skin when you're cold. From the sophisticated internal thermostat of your brain, let's turn our gaze to a feature of your body that you look through every day, but rarely at your eyes. Specifically, have you ever paused to consider the stark white of your sclera, the whites of your eyes? It's a feature so common, so fundamental to human appearance, that we rarely give it a second thought. For most of us, it's just there, perhaps an aesthetic detail, or simply the biological backdrop to the colorful iris. Yet, if you've ever looked closely at the eyes of a cat, a dog, or even a gorilla, you'll notice a striking difference. Their irises often blend seamlessly with the surrounding tissue, making it incredibly difficult to tell exactly where they are looking. This unique human trait, the clearly visible white sclera, is not merely a cosmetic quirk. But what if this seemingly unremarkable part of your eye is, in fact, one of humanity's most powerful and unique tools for social interaction? The truth is, that clear, contrasting white isn't just a biological default, it's a communication beacon, an evolutionary marvel found almost exclusively in humans. This distinct sclera allows us to effortlessly discern the direction of another person's gaze, even from a considerable distance. It's a silent, instantaneous signal that broadcasts where someone's attention is focused, crucial for coordinating actions, understanding intentions, and fostering complex social bonds. Without this visible contrast, tracking someone's focus would require much closer proximity and more overt cues, fundamentally altering the dynamics of our social engagement. This critical function underpins what scientists call the cooperative eye hypothesis, a concept pioneered by researchers from Germany and Japan. They argue that this unique human ocular anatomy is a testament to our highly cooperative nature, enabling us to engage in joint attention and collective learning on an unparalleled scale. Think about the profound impact this has had on our species, from silently warning a fellow hunter of approaching danger with just a glance, to a teacher easily gauging a student's comprehension by following their gaze. The white sclera eliminates ambiguity. making shared focus almost second nature and greatly enhancing our ability to teach, learn, and survive as a collective. So, the humble white of your eye is far more than just a background. It's a sophisticated social compass, a silent language spoken by all humanity, allowing us to connect, learn, and collaborate in ways no other species can. And speaking of unique traits and pervasive misunderstandings about our evolution, we now need to tackle one of the most persistent myths regarding human origins, what many still refer to as embryonic fish gills. That's right, a notion so ingrained in popular science, often illustrated in textbooks and documentaries, suggesting that at some point in our embryonic development, we humans actually possess fish gills. You've probably seen images or heard claims that our earliest stages of life recapitulate our aquatic past, complete with these temporary aquatic breathing apparatuses. It's a powerful and visually compelling idea, one that seems to perfectly encapsulate the very essence of evolution. But here's where we need to dive deeper and correct a profoundly misleading, albeit persistent, misconception. The stark truth is, humans have never had fish gills. What we do possess, and what these misleading illustrations often depict, are structures known as pharyngeal arches, or, in simpler terms, embryonic throat arches. These pharyngeal arches are one of evolution's most brilliant examples of repurposing and recycling. They represent a fundamental, ancient blueprint shared by all vertebrates, from fish to mammals. In fish, these arches developed into gills, but in us and other mammals, these foundational structures are ingeniously recycled by precise genetic instructions into our most vital features, powerful jaws, the delicate bones of our middle ear that allow us to hear, the cartilages of our larynx for speech, and even essential glands like the thymus and thyroid. This isn't about growing gills, it's about the deep evolutionary economy of nature. Instead of inventing new structures from scratch, evolution modifies existing ones for new purposes, transforming a common ancestral template into specialized forms. This understanding didn't just appear overnight. It stems from the foundational work of 19th century embryologists like Carl Ernst von Baer, who observed the striking similarities in early vertebrate development. Today, this concept is profoundly supported and detailed by the field of evolutionary developmental biology, or EvoDevo, which reveals the shared regulatory genes that orchestrate these transformations, showcasing the common ancestry not just in form, but in the very genetic instructions that build life. The profound genius of nature's recycling program isn't limited to these ancient embryonic structures. It extends even to those superfluous parts of our body that we often dismiss as useless, like that tiny little appendix. Let's continue our journey through nature's ingenious recycling program, moving from those ancient embryonic structures to a superfluous part of our body that has long been dismissed as useless, even dangerous, that tiny, finger-shaped pouch known as the appendix. For decades, the medical community and popular culture alike have largely viewed the appendix as little more than an evolutionary relic, a bothersome anatomical leftover with no discernible function in the modern human body. It's frequently cited as the quintessential example of a vestigial organ, prone to inflammation and often removed without a second thought. The conventional wisdom has been that we can live perfectly well without it, reinforcing the idea that it's a mistake of nature, a part of our design that simply didn't keep up with our evolution. But what if this common perception is fundamentally flawed? What if, far from being a mere evolutionary blunder or a junk organ, the appendix harbors a hidden, crucial function that we are only now beginning to fully appreciate? Emerging scientific research is challenging this long-held belief, suggesting that the appendix may actually play a vital role as a safe house for beneficial gut bacteria. Imagine it as a secluded, well-protected sanctuary deep within your digestive tract. When your body faces severe intestinal distress, perhaps from a debilitating illness like cholera or dysentery, or even from the powerful effects of antibiotics that wipe out your gut flora, the appendix may serve as a crucial refuge. Its unique anatomical structure, with its narrow opening and rich lymphatic tissue, creates an environment where good bacteria can shelter from the storm. Once the immediate threat passes, these protected microbial populations can then emerge to reboot, and repopulate the rest of your digestive system, helping to restore balance and function. This theory, which has gained significant traction through studies, notably from researchers at Duke University and other institutions, suggests that the appendix is not just a passive pouch, but an active contributor to our immune system and the intricate ecology of our gut microbiome. Far from being useless, it could be an unsung hero, essential for maintaining our long-term digestive and immune health, especially in environments where gut disruptions are common. And speaking of body parts that, while once crucial, now seem to cause more trouble than benefit in our modern lives, yet are clear legacies of ancient diets and evolutionary pressures, let's turn our attention to those notorious wisdom teeth. For many of us, the mere mention of wisdom teeth conjures up images of pain, swelling, and dreaded dental appointments. These third molars, erupting in late adolescence or early adulthood, often feel like a cruel joke of nature. Why would our bodies produce something so consistently problematic, leading to impaction, infection, and often surgical removal? We tend to view them as an inconvenient, even painful, design flaw, a biological oversight that our species has yet to correct. But far from being a flaw, wisdom teeth are a vivid anatomical echo of our ancestral past, a testament to a time when our mouths were vastly different and our diets demanded more. Imagine our early human ancestors. Their diets were incredibly tough, consisting of raw meat, fibrous plants, nuts, and roots. This relentless chewing wore down teeth rapidly and required powerful jaws. To cope with this rigorous demand, our ancestors evolved larger jaws capable of accommodating more teeth, including these crucial third molars, which served as powerful grinders to process their coarse, uncooked meals. They were indispensable for survival, providing additional chewing surface as other teeth became worn or lost. Fast forward to modern humanity, over millennia, as our diets shifted dramatically towards softer, cooked, and processed foods, the intense chewing pressure on our teeth diminished. Simultaneously, evolutionary pressures began to favor smaller faces and jaws, perhaps linked to changes in brain size or even speech development. Our modern jaws simply don't have the real estate they once did. The result? A profound mismatch. These once vital wisdom teeth, genetically programmed to appear, now try to erupt into mouths that often lack the space, leading to impaction, crowding, and the very pain and problems that send us to the dentist. This story isn't just theory. Anthropological studies comparing the skulls and dental structures of ancient hominids with modern humans reveal a clear reduction in jaw size over time. Furthermore, observations of isolated modern human populations who still consume traditional, less processed diets often show a higher prevalence of ample jaw space and properly erupted wisdom teeth, highlighting the direct link between dietary habits, jaw development, and the fate of these final molars. So, wisdom teeth aren't a mistake. They're a vestigial trait perfectly illustrating how swiftly cultural and technological shifts can outpace biological evolution, leaving us with a body part optimized for a world that no longer exists. And from these internal, often troublesome, legacies, let's now peer closer at a tiny, often overlooked secret, an entire ecosystem thriving right on your face, a part of your personal biome. And from these internal, often troublesome, legacies, let's now peer closer at a tiny, often overlooked secret, an entire ecosystem thriving right on your face, a part of your personal biome, a living, breathing testament to coexistence you probably never knew existed. You meticulously cleanse and moisturize, believing your skin to be a pristine canvas, a well-managed surface you control. You strive for cleanliness, for a flawless appearance, confident in the daily rituals that keep your face feeling fresh and pure. But what if I told you that, right this very moment, your face is a bustling metropolis for thousands of microscopic residents you've never invited? The truth is, hidden deep within your hair follicles, particularly around your eyelashes and eyebrows, tiny, 8-legged creatures called Demodex mites are living, breeding, and thriving. These almost transparent arachnids, distant cousins to spiders, are so small that up to 2 dozen could comfortably fit on the head of a pin. They spend their entire lives on our faces, emerging primarily at night to mate, then retreating back into the safety of our pores and follicles to lay their eggs. This isn't a new phenomenon. These tiny tenants have been cohabiting with humans for millions of years, an ancient, largely unseen partnership that evolved alongside our species, far from being a sign of poor hygiene. Demodex mites are an integral, often harmless, part of the human condition. Researchers at North Carolina State University, through groundbreaking genetic studies, have revealed that virtually every adult carries these mites. They are so ubiquitous, so intricately linked to human DNA, that different populations of mites can even be linked to specific human ancestral groups, suggesting a shared evolutionary journey. They feed on the sebum, the natural oil produced by your skin, and while their exact function isn't fully understood, most scientists believe this relationship is largely symbiotic, silently contributing to the complex ecosystem of our skin, a living archive of our deep past, and speaking of things we might rather keep hidden, or signals we wish we could control. Let's turn to a completely involuntary reaction, yet one that plays an incredibly significant role in our social communication. When a wave of embarrassment washes over you, or you find yourself caught in an awkward situation, what's the first thing you feel? Often, it's a sudden warmth spreading across your cheeks, a visible rush of color that betrays your innermost feelings. This phenomenon, blushing, is something many of us dread. We perceive it as a weakness, a telltale sign of guilt, shyness, or discomfort that we desperately wish we could suppress. It feels like an uncontrollable disclosure, a public announcement of our inner turmoil that makes us want to disappear. But what if this involuntary flush, this often unwelcome disclosure, is actually a sophisticated and ancient tool of social bonding, a secret weapon crafted by evolution to maintain harmony and trust within our communities, far from being a flaw? The blush is theorized by evolutionary psychologists to be an unmistakable, unforgeable reconciliation signal. Unlike a forced smile or a carefully constructed apology, a blush is genuinely beyond our conscious control. It's a spontaneous physiological response, triggered by specific emotional states, that publicly broadcasts your acknowledgement of a social transgression, your regret, or your deep emotional sensitivity. Imagine a scenario where someone has inadvertently caused offense. A genuine blush isn't just about embarrassment, it communicates, without a single word, that the person recognizes their mistake, feels remorse, and cares about the social fabric they might have strained. This visible display of vulnerability and honesty bypasses verbal defenses, signaling to others that you're not trying to deceive or manipulate them. It's an open book of emotion, forging an immediate, subconscious connection. Studies in evolutionary psychology suggest that individuals who blush readily are often perceived as more trustworthy, more empathetic, and more reliable, precisely because their bodies are openly admitting their emotional state. This nonverbal confession acts as a powerful social lubricant, helping to de-escalate conflicts, rebuild trust, and reinforce the vital bonds that allowed our ancestors to thrive in complex social groups. It's a profound testament to how deeply our physiology is intertwined with our social intelligence, and much like the blush, another complex emotional expression, one that often brings both relief and connection, also holds a depth far beyond what we typically imagine. And much like the blush, another complex emotional expression, one that often brings both relief and connection, also holds a depth far beyond what we typically imagine. We cry when we are sad, when we are in pain, or even when we are overwhelmed with joy. Most of us simply categorize tears as saline water, a mere physical outlet for our emotions, a universal signal that something profound is happening within us. But the truth about emotional tears is far more intricate than just a physiological release. These aren't just drops of salt water, they are tiny, complex chemical cocktails, deliberately crafted by your body. Scientists have discovered that tears shed due to strong emotions actually possess a distinct chemical composition compared to reflex tears, the ones that clear dust from your eyes or respond to an onion. Specifically, emotional tears contain higher concentrations of stress hormones such as adrenocorticotropic hormone ACTH, as well as natural pain relievers like leucine and enkephalin, an opioid peptide. When you cry, your body isn't just emptying its emotional reservoir, it's actively ridding itself of these potent stress chemicals. It's like hitting a biological reset button, flushing out the very compounds that contribute to your distress. This chemical purge can explain the profound sense of relief and calm that often follows a good cry, making it not just an emotional expression, but a sophisticated physiological detox. But the genius of emotional tears doesn't stop there. Beyond internal regulation, they serve a powerful, albeit often unconscious, social purpose. When others witness these unique tears, they trigger a primal human response: empathy. The sight of genuine emotional crying acts as an undeniable signal of distress or vulnerability, an unforgeable plea for comfort and support. This observable display bypasses verbal communication, directly tapping into our innate capacity for compassion. It fosters connection, strengthens social bonds, and encourages altruistic behavior within a community. In essence, crying isn't just about feeling better, it's a profound mechanism for making others care, ensuring you're not alone in your moments of deepest need, a chemical bridge to social unity. The pioneering research by biochemist William H. Frey II in the 1980s was instrumental in revealing these fascinating differences in chemical makeup, providing concrete evidence that our emotional tears are indeed more than just a simple secretion. They are a complex message both to ourselves and to those around us. And that is how emotional tears, too, perfectly encapsulate the astonishing depth of your body's hidden wisdom. They, along with the other 10 revelations we've explored, unveil the extraordinary genius within what we often dismiss as random or useless. From your wrinkly tire tread fingers, designed for underwater grip, to the brain-cooling yawns, the crucial social signals of your sclera, and the sophisticated evolutionary recycling evident in your pharyngeal arches. From your wrinkly tire tread fingers, designed for underwater grip, to the brain-cooling yawns that keep your mind sharp, the crucial social signals communicated by your unique sclera, and the sophisticated evolutionary recycling evident in your pharyngeal arches, which, remember, were never fish gills but incredible blueprints for your jaw and ears. We've journeyed through just a fraction of the hidden wonders within you. We've peeled back the layers of common misconceptions, revealing how even the discomfort of morning sickness is a chemical bodyguard for new life, and your seemingly useless appendix is a sanctuary for good bacteria. We uncovered the ancestral saga behind your troublesome wisdom teeth and faced the tiny, ancient inhabitants of your eyelashes. And we saw how a blush isn't weakness, but an unforgeable signal of trust, just as emotional tears are a complex chemical bridge to connection and relief. Each of these 11 revelations isn't just a surprising fact, it's a profound testament to the intricate, often counterintuitive genius of evolution that has sculpted every fiber of your being. Your body is not a collection of random flaws or outdated relics. It is a living, breathing masterpiece, an ancient supercomputer programmed by millions of years of adaptation, constantly working in ways you never imagined to keep you alive and thriving. You are, quite literally, operating a miracle of biological engineering every single day. Are you ready to uncover even more of these hidden superpowers, more breakthrough truths that will utterly transform how you see yourself and the world around you? If you're hungry for the real story behind your existence, for knowledge that challenges the everyday and expands your understanding of life itself, then join us on this journey. Subscribe now and hit that notification bell to ensure you never miss another deep dive into the extraordinary secrets science is still unraveling. Let's keep asking questions, keep seeking the truth, and together, let's redefine how we perceive life.